Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce GTX 1080 in Hogwarts Legacy. This one is the Asus ROG Strix version of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power Up's GPU Z. It has 8GB of GDDR5X memory, 2560 CUDA cores, and it released back in 2016. And over on the left, we are pairing it with a Ryzen 7 5800X3D and 32GB of RAM, 3600 MHz dual channel CL14 to avoid CPU bottlenecks. Let's get into it now, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I'm playing at 1080p using TAA on low with no FSR at the moment, but we're gonna try that out, of course. And we're using the medium settings preset. The game actually recommends high settings for this GPU, but I chose medium to test here first, so we're also gonna test high settings as well and other resolutions. All right, here we go, guys. Start counting the FPS. This is medium settings at native 1080p. Again, it actually looks better with FSR2 in this game. I've been saying this forever, but it gets sharper than 1080p native with the freaking TAA that they put here, so I prefer that, you know? And let me tell you, this is a buttery smooth experience right now. No stuttering so far. That's a breath of fresh air. I think they actually fixed a lot of the stuttering issues, at least. So it is way more stable. You can still see that the frame time is not perfectly flat as I'd like to see, but you know, this is a pretty nice experience, not gonna lie, and a pretty smooth one. If you have a 75Hz 1080p monitor or 60Hz, it's gonna be amazing, or even a higher refresh rate monitor. With FSR, you might be able to take advantage of it, honestly, which is pretty incredible from a GPU from 2016, guys. Like, this is awesome. Also, can we talk about the fact that it looks insanely better than something like Forsbroken, and it performs way better at the same time? And people were crapping on me for saying that Forsbroken was indeed very broken, because these GPUs are just old. You can't expect a 7-year-old GPU to run new games properly. Well, this is a new game. It's not particularly that greatly optimized, and it is running absolutely fine, above 60 FPS, like what, 99% of the time on a GTX 1080. That's incredible. And you know what else is very incredible about this? The fact that the developers actually listened to our complaints about performance in this one, and they fixed a ton of the issues that this game had. So props to the developers. Actually, they should have taken more time. Maybe the publisher didn't allow them to do that, but yeah, more time in the optimization process before launching the game would have been better, but still, I'm not complaining here. Again, this is great. Anyway, let's try it out with FSR2 on quality. Gonna bump up that sharpness right now, and is it gonna be a higher refresh rate experience? Oh boy, 90 frames. And again, it is looking better, isn't it? I'm stopping here so you guys can take a look without the YouTube compression wrecking everything. But yeah, to my eyes, at least in my 42-inch monitor, I can pixel peep very well because it's very, very big. That's what she said. Sorry. But sometimes I can't hold it, my friends. But yeah, this game suffers from that really soft look at native resolution, so using upscaling technologies is a good idea here, unless the developers are listening to us. And please, if you are, let us use like SMAA or something like that. That would be nice to see in a game like this. This is probably the way to go if you're playing at 1080p, honestly. Medium settings with FSR2 on quality. It will never ever drop from 60 FPS. You will likely be CPU bound if you have a slower CPU than, say, like a Ryzen 5 5600 or 5500 or an i5 11400F. Great performance from the GTX 1080 for sure. Alright guys, we're back here. I need to restart the game every time I want to switch resolutions because it doesn't have a full screen mode. But we're playing at 1440p resolution, TAA on low, no FSR at the moment, and the same medium settings. Now, I wouldn't say that 1440p is very adequate for something like a GTX 1080 these days, in 2023, you know. It was certainly a great resolution to pair with this card back in 2016 when it launched. Even 4K panels were like great with a GTX 1080 with those days' games. right? But things have changed, games are way more intensive, and now we are seeing way less than 60 frames per second at 1440p with this card. Still, I would say this is perfectly playable as long as it doesn't stutter too much, and as long as it doesn't have any sudden drops in FPS by like going near water and stuff like that. For example, the RX 500 series struggle a lot with the water in this game, but the 10 series from Nvidia doesn't seem to have a problem with it, and that's to be expected because even the 900 series from Nvidia didn't have a problem with it, even though those are way older than the 500 series from AMD. Anyway, it's stuttering a little bit more. I can feel a bit more inconsistency there in the frame time graph. It's not as smooth, but you know, that's due to the fact that it's not at 60 plus FPS, I guess. We still have some hope, by the way, because it can still get 60 plus with FSR2 on quality. Just gonna run around Hogsmeade for a little bit right now. See that frame time graph, you know, it should get a bit more inconsistent right now than it was previously. Bigger spikes are happening at the moment compared to 1080p. But I would still call this a perfectly playable experience. If you don't require 60 plus FPS all of the time, you can still play this game, even at native 1440p with GTX 1080 from 2016. Now, FSR2 on quality, gonna bump up that sharpness once again. Can we get 60 plus? At least in Hogsmeade. Can we get, oh my god, 70s, that's really good. And there's Jack right here. How's it going, boy? Everything all right with you, buddy? Oh, so cute, so cute. But then you remember it's actually a person that's transformed into a cat, so it's not as cute, it's kind of creepy, actually. Anyways, we went from 50 to 60 FPS running around here to 70 plus so far. And you know what? If you are one of those people that bought this card back in 2016 or 17 with a 1440p monitor... What? Did you just slide there a little bit? Well, I can tell you, you can still have an amazing experience at 1440p in Hogwarts Legacy, and I wasn't expecting it. It can still do really well at 1440 with the help of upscalers like FSR. So, if anything, we gotta thank AMD for introducing FSR2 into the world, you know, because it's an amazing technology, it works really well in this game, it looks beautiful, and the 10 series will live forever because of it, I guess. Okay, it might, yeah, it will definitely still drop. Okay, 58 right there. But it doesn't drop by much, and this right here, by the way, this little river with the trees near us, alright, 54 right there, this is the most intensive area that I've come across so far in this game. Actually, most GPU intensive area, because CPU intensive areas are Hogwarts right there and Hogsmeade right there. If you drop more FPS there than in that area that I just showed you, or around here in the forest, it's because you have a CPU bottleneck. As you can see, even here, it's getting 60 to 70 most of the time, and in Hogsmeade, it was getting like 70 to 80. 4K resolution now, TAA on low, no upscaling. Can it get 30 FPS on medium settings? That's what I want here. Definitely not. You cannot get 30 plus FPS. This isn't even very intensive. Looking at the Dark Forest from above, or Secret Forest, whatever it is. North Hogwarts region. That's it. Yeah, and it's not even touching 30 FPS, so not playable at 4K native, but once again, with the help of FSR2 on quality, not gonna bump up that sharpness, by the way, it might be playable. Okay, 40s. Let's go down there. The FPS dropped quite a bit down there, remember it? At 1440p, we were seeing higher 50s at times, with FSR, of course. Now it's getting 30s consistently, and it looks basically the same as native 4K with FSR2 on quality. Wow, look at that, not even dropping from 30 FPS. And if you lock the FPS, by the way, don't lock it with the built-in FPS locker inside of the game, okay, because that actually makes it stutter even more for some reason. But if you go to like Riven Tuner right here and lock it to 30 right there, look at that frame time. That's exactly how it should be. A flat line means a buttery smooth experience. It's not buttery smooth right now because, you know, it is 30 FPS, but it definitely feels better than what we were seeing previously, between 30 and 40 frames per second with a lot of little frame time spikes there. So I think this is the way to go if you're playing at 4K resolution with a GTX 1080. Look at this. Even near the water right now, it's not moving whatsoever. I haven't seen a single spike yet in the frame time graph because the FPS are locked. So maybe even consider locking... Oh, there we go. There's a little spike there. But maybe consider locking the FPS to like 60 if you're playing at like 1080p medium or 1440p medium with FSR. And it will be even smoother, of course. You will get rid of most of those spikes in the frame time graph. Okay, let's go down here. This is it. It's gonna get really intensive. 30 flat. 30 flat with 1% lows at 30 FPS. All right, that is incredible. Wow. I already said this a ton of times, of course, but this is really awesome. Let's go up to high settings now. 1080p, TAA is set to high, no FSR, and the high settings preset. This is the recommended preset, once again. Ooh, high is so much more intensive. It's also way more beautiful. You get a lot more depth in like the forest areas and vegetation and grass. But yeah, it drops from 60 FPS, so you might not want to do this, guys. But yeah, if you want the higher visual fidelity, which you might do, because it's a single-player title, it doesn't really require a ton of fast reactions and stuff like that, well, this is an option. It's still very playable. It's just as playable as... Whoa. 1440p medium native resolution, or with FSR, whatever it was. No, with FSR it was a little bit better, mostly 60, right? Yeah, dropping into the 40s right now. And it is quite a bit more stuttery, so if you want to smooth things out, you should probably lock it to like 45 FPS at 1080p high settings, and that should give you a pretty smooth and stable experience. Alright, let's try it with FSR2 on quality and the high settings now, guys. This should put us above 60, I hope. Yes! Yes! Oh, no, it's dropping. It's gonna drop. It's basically the same thing as 1440p medium with FSR quality, I think. That's exactly the same FPS that we were seeing previously, or the experience is going to be exactly the same, even if the FPS end up being slightly lower or slightly higher. Yeah, it feels exactly the same. It looks a bit worse because I am running a huge monitor, of course. Oh my god, a lot of stuttering as well. Like at high settings, it stutters a little bit more. Let's go now. Over here, 60s. Didn't drop yet. Okay, that's cool. And now it should drop a lot. Yeah, 56. Not too bad, though. If it only drops to 56, you can probably lock it to like 55 and have a pretty smooth experience. If you get used to 55 FPS, after a while it will start feeling like 60, so it's a good option to do that. Again, remember that the frame time graph will smooth out tremendously if you lock the FPS to 55, so I would probably end up doing that playing at 1080p using these settings. Now, what about no FSR and 1440p? Damn, that looks insane. Hi guys, how's it going? Oh man. Holy crap, the difference from 1080p to 1440 is crazy. If you're still running a 1080p monitor, I mean, with a 1080 it's fine, right? But if you have something like a 3070 or 3060 Ti or higher end, I would strongly recommend you to upgrade to 1440p. Because it makes a huge difference. Even if you go from like 100, 120 FPS to 60 or 80 FPS at 1440, it's worth it. The visuals are insane, especially on like a 27-inch 1440p monitor. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's see if it drops though. If it manages to stay above 30 all of the time, this could also be a pretty compelling option, guys. And indeed, it does get 30 plus all of the time here. So if you want a locked 30 FPS experience all of the time. 31 there. 1440p native on high settings will do it. Lock the FPS so you don't see those frame time graphs going crazy. It's only one frame time graph, but yeah. So you don't see those spikes going crazy and stutters. Yeah, it's gonna run pretty much the same as what we saw at 4K medium settings with FSR, you know, locked 30, very, very nice. But now we got the option, of course, to utilize some FSR2 on quality. And this does look pretty much the same or better and gives us way higher FPS. Instead of 30s and 40s, we're now getting... What the hell was that? Was that my microphone? I don't know. We're now getting 50s and 40s. So that's a good improvement. Once again, it feels way smoother than 30 FPS, and you could lock it to like 45 now and still achieve the same visuals. So if you're playing at 1440p and you value those visuals, this is probably the way to go. This is what I'd recommend. FSR2 on quality, 1440p, high with 45 FPS lock. Oh boy, 45 there. If it drops here, yeah, 44, okay. Maybe it will start stuttering a little bit if it drops from 45 and you lock it to 45. Yeah, 43 right there. So maybe 40 FPS lock is a little bit better of an option. But you could also slightly overclock the card, achieve a couple of more FPS, and then 45 plus would be possible all of the time. So it's pretty interesting results here with GTX 1080. It's still showing absolutely strong performance, and it's awesome to see. Oh boy, 4K TA high, no upscaling, high settings. This is gonna be terrible, as you know already. Yeah, this is not gonna happen, okay? Let's go ahead and choose FSR2 on quality and 4K high. Alright. And will this happen? Okay, yeah, that's really close to 30 frames per second. It's definitely gonna drop still. Yep, 29 right there. Alright, but it should be possible using balanced FSR, so let's try that out. Here we go, FSR2 on balanced. Can we get 30 plus? Oh boy, alright, what the hell are these guys doing? 32, no, it's still very close to 30 FPS, and now the visual starts suffering quite a bit, as I told you. It looks pretty noisy at times, and fuzzy, and bad. I don't like it. Still, the FPS are well above 30 right now, even here in this little forest, so that's interesting. That frame time, man, that's horrible. Whenever you are close to 30 FPS, you absolutely need to lock the frames to 30, because otherwise it's awful. Here it is, little river, downstream, here we go, 30 flat. 30, no, go in the hole, please, thank you very much. That's what no. Let's go, 30 again, 29, it drops. It only drops slightly though, so again, if you overclock the card slightly and lock it to 30 all of the time, it's still possible to play like this, which is incredible. Finally, 1080p using no upscalers and the ultra settings preset. We still got ray tracing, by the way. I'm gonna enable that in just a little bit. Just for fun. Yes, ray tracing actually does work on a GTX 1080. The 10 series can support it from 1060 and up. If you see here in GPU-Z, see right there, ray tracing, it does support it, okay? I'm not joking here, it is actually real, alright? Anyway, wow! This is looking fantastic, and it is getting good FPS at 1080p Ultra. Usually, I say Ultra is not worth it whatsoever because it looks very similar to high, and it does, okay? It does look a little bit better, but it's similar. And you lose a lot of FPS, about like 10 frames per second, I guess, compared to high. But this is still playable. You could still lock the FPS to like 40 or maybe 30 or 35 and have a smoothish experience again. Alright? However, there is one problem with ultra settings at 1080p that I don't like whatsoever, even at higher resolutions. Do you see the haze around my character? Like, it looks like heat waves, basically. It's probably because of the broom being on fire, I guess. But I'm not sure, and it only, or at least it's very emphasized by ultra settings. Anyway, dropping down here, getting 35, 34 on the minimum. So locking it to 35 is a good option on ultra settings. I was expecting it to perform way slower than this on ultra. So you can still play on ultra with 1080. It's not going to be the best experience ever, obviously, but you can. It's crazy. Wow. All right, start counting the FPS again. Now with FSR2 on quality. Getting 40s around here. Not bad. Again, you gain around like, what, 10 frames per second compared to FSR off. So there's that. You can probably lock it to like 40 or 45 this time around. Look at that. That's good. 46, 47, going down the river right here. And finally, lowest FPS is 45. So you can actually play this game on ultra. I can't believe this. I actually thought it would use more than 8 gigabytes of VRAM on ultra, but it doesn't. But now I just want to check it out with ray tracing here. Let's restart to fully apply. Yeah, ray tracing is enabled now, clearly, because the FPS are super low, even with FSR. oh, hello there. This is some quite interesting ray tracing going on right here, guys. Yeah. Clipping into the ground. Very good. Okay. You know what? It's ray tracing, so I actually thought it would get single digits instead of like close to 20 FPS. Obviously this is awful, it's not playable, but if you want to take screenshots and stuff, it should still be possible, interestingly. Just position your camera with the FSR enabled, and here with native resolution you take the screenshot. It's that easy. 10 FPS is more in line of what I was expecting. All right. Oh my. Okay, single digits. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. And we managed to hit the hole anyways. Even with ray tracing and single digits. There have been runs where I struggled more to hit that hole. And what is rolling? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. My torso is invisible with ray tracing. It's the power of RT, my friends. That's been it for this one. Thank you very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back very soon with another one. Love you all. Bye-bye.